Hello and welcome viewers, I am Pia and you're watching NewsX World. Let's take a look at the headlines this hour. US President Donald Trump and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi will chair the Gaza Peace Summit tomorrow, with 20 world leaders attending, including Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, EU Council President Antonio Costa, India's External Affairs Ministry leader Kirti Vardhan Singh. Meanwhile, Hamas will miss the formal signing of the Gaza peace deal. A senior Hamas official has confirmed that the hostage releases will start tomorrow morning. Hamas has warned that it will repel any renewed aggression. Meanwhile, over 500,000 people have returned to Gaza City since the ceasefire has been in effect. Qatar's embassy in Egypt has confirmed that 3 Amiri Divan employees have lost their lives in a car crash near Sharm el-Sheikh. 2 others are injured and are receiving treatment. The accident happened shortly after diplomatic talks linked to the Gaza peace plan had taken place. Iran has rejected US President Donald Trump's suggestion that it may normalize ties with Israel, calling it wishful thinking. Trump had hinted at Iran possibly joining the Abraham Accords following Israel's peace deals with 4 Muslim-majority countries and the Gaza Peace Pact. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has urged US President Donald Trump to broker peace in Ukraine, praising his ceasefire plan in the Middle East. Zelensky has called on Trump to pressurize Russia to enter into negotiations after a spate of attacks knocking out power across Ukraine. China has accused the United States of double standards after Washington threatened new tariffs. Beijing's Commerce Ministry has urged the United States to correct what it terms erroneous practices, defending its decision to impose special port fees on US-linked vessels as a necessary countermeasure. Afghan Taliban forces launched armed reprisals against Pakistani troops along Afghanistan's eastern border after Islamabad conducted airstrikes on Afghan soil. Pakistani officials have confirmed that Pakistan fired light and then heavy artillery at 4 points along the border and shot down 3 Afghan quadcopters. Torrential rains in Mexico have killed at least 41 people and have caused widespread destruction. Flooding, landslides and collapsed roads are now being seen across 31 states. Hidalgo and Puebla have suffered the worst, with thousands affected across the country. All right, viewers, those were the headlines and our top focus. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz has stated that following the implementation of the agreed first phase of the Gaza peace plan, Israeli Defense Forces are preparing to demolish Hamas's tunnels in the Gaza Strip. He has further stated that the major challenge for Israeli forces after the return of the hostages is dismantling of Hamas's tunnels in Gaza under US leadership and supervision. He has highlighted that this step is in accordance with the principle of demilitarizing Gaza and disarming Hamas. Meanwhile, Israeli defense authorities have stated that they have detained more than a dozen suspects in the West Bank who participated in a march allegedly supporting Hamas. Over the weekend, the IDF and border police say that forces were dispatched to several villages in Ramallah, where gatherings in support of Hamas were held. These developments come as US President Donald Trump is slated to hold a crucial meeting tomorrow. He'll be co-chairing this with Egyptian President el-Sisi, and 20 other world leaders are slated to be present. With us on the broadcast is Mr. Peter Baum, foreign editor of Weekly Blitz, joining us from London. Thank you so much for taking our time and speaking to us on NewsX World. At the outset, I wanted to know what are your expectations from this crucial meeting that is slated to take place tomorrow. Several world leaders will be in attendance, whether it's Macron, Keir Starmer, Giorgia Meloni, Pedro Sanchez, Erdogan and EU Council President Antonio Costa, as well as UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres.
Yes, good day to you and thank you for having me on the programme. If this meeting is fully supportive of the Trump ceasefire plan, then it gives credibility. Not only does it give credibility to the plan, but it puts both warring factions, both the Israelis and Hamas, in a position, a noose round their neck that neither would or should be able to get out of. So the meeting, from a political point of view, is exceptionally important. It's interesting that Iran, who were the main supporters, both financially, militarily, of their proxy Hamas, is being completely isolated from this meeting. So it's also interesting that the UN Secretary General, Guterres, is there, because up till now, I'm pretty sure that what I'm telling you and your viewers and listeners is correct. Donald Trump, since Donald Trump has been back in office, has not had one meeting with him. He has completely isolated him because he considers him to be a biased, incompetent fool. And the fact that now Guterres has managed to find a role for himself in this meeting is more to do with his acceptability to other world leaders than he is to Donald Trump. I don't think he has actual any input into the meeting. But the fact the meeting is taking place, and if it is fully supportive of the Trump plan, then both parties are even more pressurized into ensuring that not only the ceasefire holds, but the first phase of the hostage deal goes through. So it will be interesting to see if there are any dissenting voices in that meeting.
Indeed, and speaking of dissent, do you think now the IDF revealing that they're preparing to demolish Hamas's tunnels in the Gaza Strip could also now be a sticking point? Because Hamas, as so far as we've been discussing, it's remained mum on demands by the US administration to disarm, but the IDF claims that they will do so under American supervision.
Yeah, I don't think the world should be under any illusions that the war came to, the end of the war has come too soon for the Israeli military to fulfill its ultimate objective, was to destroy Hamas, if not entirely, then more than it has done. I think if you were looking at percentages, the Israeli military would say, well, we've done 75% of the job, but that 25% remaining, the number of Hamas operatives still around and the tunnels themselves, Israel has an opportunity to destroy the tunnels. Whether that in itself is enough to break the ceasefire deal, we'll only know after the reactions of the Trump administration and the meeting that we've just referred to. So it's possible that Israel will go ahead destroying some of the tunnels that she sees could still pose a threat to her security. And it will be also interesting to see if Hamas fight back, or if they decide, with so much pressure being put on them, to give up more arms than they actually want to. So in this respect, the next 48 hours, which will include, or should include, the first phase of the prisoner exchange deal, is absolutely crucial to the well-being of the Trump plan.
Indeed, sir. Requesting you to stay on with us as we're tracking some other important information regarding this meeting. We're now learning that European Council President Antonio Costa will attend the Gaza Peace Summit. This has been confirmed by an EU official. Moreover, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been invited by US President Donald Trump and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to attend the Gaza Peace Summit in Sharm el-Sheikh. This last-minute invitation was extended yesterday, although the Prime Minister's office has yet to confirm his participation. But now, according to reports, India will instead be represented by the Minister of State for External Affairs, Kirti Vardhan Singh, at the high-level gathering. Now, according to Egypt's presidency, the summit will be co-chaired by Trump and el-Sisi. It will bring together leaders from more than 20 countries. The talks, of course, aim to end the war in Gaza, strengthen regional stability, and open a new chapter of peace and security in the Middle East, under what the White House calls Trump's vision for global peace. Still with us on the broadcast is Mr. Peter Baum. I'd like to, in fact, touch upon something that you've already told our viewers, that is the presence of the United Nations itself. You pointed out that until now, the UN has played more of a secondary role. It's not really been involved in the negotiations on the ground. What it's been doing largely is publishing reports and providing humanitarian aid. We do know that now the Rafah border crossing is opening. There are hundreds of aid trucks on the ground as well. And speaking of post-war reconstruction, that will be a long-drawn process that many estimate could, in fact, take place over a decade or so. What else is needed in the meantime, in the immediate aftermath of the ceasefire, considering the fact that a lot of Palestinians who've been displaced are now heading home, but their homes have been reduced to rubble, and a lot of hospitals were also bombarded?
Yeah, couple of things to go through here and to dissect. It's interesting from what we see on our television screens, and I'm sure you're seeing the same where you are, that the number of Palestinians a couple of weeks ago who were leaving Gaza City and going along the various humanitarian corridors created by the Israelis are now returning back to Gaza City to their homes, albeit to a city that has been reduced to rubble. But isn't it interesting that none of those Palestinians seem to be dying of famine? Something that we were told time and time and time again of the famine in Gaza, and no pictures that I've seen such a famine. The other interesting thing which you touched on was the invitation to the Indian Prime Minister Modi. Now, India is seen by both the Israelis and Trump as a more trusted partner in this process than the Europeans. And I am certain that should there be a reconstruction of Gaza, which there will be, both the Israelis and the Americans will definitely want India to play a major role, because she is a trusted actor, a trusted player in this theatre of the absurd. President Trump has a fantastic relationship with Prime Minister Modi, as does Netanyahu, and although they don't see eye to eye on everything, naturally, India is a real trusted partner. So I'm hopeful that if the Trump plan does go ahead, then India will be called in as a partner to ensure the peace process continues and to help with the reconstruction, more so than the European Union, which I have to say, where we are at the moment in the political spectrum, is not trusted by the Trump administration, nor is she trusted by Israel. So in that case, I think President Modi and the Indian economy could benefit hugely by merely being there and being a player in the redevelopment of Gaza.
All right, so I request you to stay on with us. So we're in fact tracking some other very crucial updates from the Middle East. Iran has now reacted to the agreed first phase of the Gaza peace plan. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has in fact stated that Iran does not have any confidence that Israel would respect the terms of the ceasefire plan that has now come into effect. Iran has been skeptical of Israeli intentions, as the Iranian foreign minister pointed to previous ceasefire violations undertaken by Israel, including continuous strikes in southern Lebanon, despite an agreement which is already in place since last year. Listen in to what Araghchi had to say.
هیچ اعتمادی به رژیم صهیونیستی وجود نداره. موارد مکرری از آتش‌بس بوده در گذشته در جاهای مختلف، به ویژه در لبنان مورد آخرش هست که شاهد بودیم که توسط این رژیم شکسته شده، به جنایات خودش ادامه داده و لذا طبیعی هست که ما هشدارهای لازم رو در این خصوص دادیم و باز هم خواهیم داد.
Still with us on the broadcast is Mr. Peter Baum, foreign editor of Weekly Blitz, joining us from London. It's an interesting statement coming in from Iran, their official reaction to the ceasefire that is now in place. We do know that Iranian proxies were the ones that were fighting this war that is now stretched on for 2 years, and we can finally, hopefully, see an end to it as well. How much has Iran truly lost on the ground, not just in monetary terms, but in terms of its influence in the Middle East as well?
What a great question, and I'm delighted to be able to answer it. Iran has invested over the last 3 decades billions of dollars into securing herself with a ring of steel around her, mainly Shia proxies, all funded by Iran. And in the space of 2 years, since October the 7th, those proxies, their military strength has been absolutely decimated. We're talking about Hezbollah in both Syria and Lebanon, the Assad regime itself, of course, in Syria, which Iran supported. Hamas, we know where Hamas stand now. About 80% of their military power has been decimated. And the Houthis, it's interesting that through a series of bombardments, the Houthis, in the last, I would think, 8 or 9 days, have not fired one missile into Israel. Now, whether that they've been warned by the United States or whether Iran has been warned, we don't know. But economically, because of her failed investments, because of the new sanctions on Iran, and because, may I add, the infrastructure in Iran falling apart because of what can only be called a biblical drought, which has been going on for months now, Iran has never been so weakened economically or politically. The Iranian rial, which a year ago was trading, I think, at about 200,000 rials to the dollar, is now absolutely worthless. It's trading at about 1.5 million rials to the dollar. The Iranian economy is on its knees. And it was typical of the statement made by the Iranian politician we've just heard, that he was very sceptical about Israel's ability to hold on to the ceasefire. What else could he say? The Iranians are completely isolated in the process. One didn't expect him to make a positive comment about the ceasefire, especially towards the Jewish state of Israel. So really, his comments are, in the light of things, completely meaningless. They may make good media for the domestic audience, but for the international audience, I think we can see how isolated Iran is because of what's going on in Iran domestically.
You've spoken about Iran being isolated. I'd like to digress a little bit from our core focus and speak about another crucial development. Tehran has recently expressed that it sees no reason to resume nuclear talks with European powers. In fact, the E3 powers recently stated that they are seeking to restart the stalled discussions over Iran's nuclear program. But in the same breath, we've seen another very interesting statement. Araghchi, their foreign minister, has stated that Iran is open to considering a fair and balanced nuclear proposal with the United States. The same US that bombarded 3 nuclear installations, 3 sites in Iran just a couple of months back. Although no clear proposal has been made up until now, Araghchi has made it clear that Iran will not stop enriching uranium and will be considering measures to build trust around what they claim that their program is peaceful in itself. What do you think has prompted such a statement? Is the isolation that you've referred to prompted Araghchi to come out and make this sort of statement as far as its nuclear program is concerned?
Now, clearly, this indicates to me that there is a split between the Iranian hierarchy, which has not been authorized by the Grand Leader Khamenei. We saw it about a month ago when the Iranian foreign minister admitted to various Arab television stations that Iran was suffering a water crisis and may need to move its capital Tehran to further south. Khamenei apparently was livid at this, because for the first time, an Iranian government minister, a very senior Iranian government minister, had broken ranks from ensuring that to the international audience, and more importantly to the domestic audience, that all was well in Iran when clearly it isn't. Now, this new statement regarding the mixed messages about the willingness to talk about the Iranian nuclear facilities, brought upon by sanctions from Germany, the United Kingdom and France, is again sending mixed messages to the international audience. And I believe it can only have happened if there was a split in the Iranian hierarchy, which has not been authorized, or maybe this particular statement has been authorized by the supreme leader. So to me, it seems that those running Iran at the moment on a number of issues, and another one being the potential flare-up on the Afghan border, indicates to me that there is clearly, not is all well in the previous unification and united voice of the Iranian government.
All right, sir, with that, I would like to thank you for taking our time sharing your analysis with us on NewsX World. With that, viewers, we're shifting focus to more developments coming in, this time from Australia. Tens of thousands have joined a pro-Palestinian rally in Sydney as a part of dozens of demonstrations across Australia. Organisers have estimated that 30,000 people in Sydney are marching with Palestinian flags and cafes on closed city streets. The Gaza ceasefire is now appearing to hold as Israeli troops have pulled back under a US brokered agreement. Police have reported no arrests, but many protesters have expressed skepticism that the ceasefire would last and have called on the Australian government to take action against Israel's policies in Palestinian territories. Listen in to what some of the demonstrators have said.
So today we are also celebrating that there's been an end to the bombing in Gaza, so the people of Gaza get to have a bit of a brief respite. But we're also sending a message that the eyes of the world are still focused on Gaza. We still want to see sanctions imposed on Israel, and we still want to see the Palestinian people be in charge of their own destiny and not have another form of colonization imposed upon them.
This so-called ceasefire will not hold. Israel always breaks every ceasefire they've ever done. For 78 years, they've been conducting an illegal occupation in Palestinian territories, and we demand the Australian government sanction Israel.
With that, viewers, we're shifting our focus to South Asia. Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has strongly condemned what he's called provocations by Afghanistan. Sharif has vowed a strong and effective response after border clashes between the neighbouring countries had taken place overnight. Sharif has accused Taliban authorities in Afghanistan of allowing their land to be used by terrorist elements and stated that there will be no compromise on Pakistan's defence. This comes as Afghan officials have now claimed that 58 Pakistani soldiers have been killed in retaliatory operations. Meanwhile, a Pakistani official has stated that Pakistan fired light and then heavy artillery at 4 points along the border. He's added that Pakistani forces shot down 3 Afghan quadcopters suspected of carrying explosives. Now, these clashes come as Pakistan has called on Kabul to stop harbouring the terrorist group Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan. Remember, the group had earlier claimed responsibility for deadly attacks in several districts in northwestern Pakistan that earlier killed 20 security personnel and 3 civilians as well. Joining us on the broadcast is Fakhar Yousafzai, Pakistani journalist from Karachi. Thank you for taking our time and speaking to us on NewsX World. The tensions between Afghanistan and Pakistan are escalating. There have been, of course, contentions as far as the Durand Line is concerned, but we've seen a sharp escalation take place over the last 2 days. I want to understand from you, how are the Pakistanis viewing the geopolitical implications of this?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to all of you. Actually, I am not from Karachi, I'm from Islamabad, which is not very far away from the Pak-Afghan border. Uh, Actually, the situation, as you explained in your opening remarks, that 2 or 3 days ago, Pakistan airstrike the capital city of Afghanistan, Kabul, and their province Nangarhar, which is near to Jalalabad, in 3 different places. After that, the situation between Islamabad and Kabul was heat up, and we have seen so many statements from the Afghan Taliban government, and especially some heat up statement from the Pakistan Defense Minister or the Pakistani parliamentarians was also exchange of fire in shape of different statement against each other. But Afghan authorities cleared this, okay, that we will, of course, we will respond to Pakistan, and we will take a revenge of this airstrike. Pakistan have violated our airspace. Therefore, we will respond. And last night in Operation Midnight, they have attacked the Duran line from Chitral to Job and Noshki, which is in Balochistan. I think so. They have attacked from 6 to 10 different points in the Pak-Afghan border in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa as well as in Balochistan. And as you said, that the Afghan government, Zabiullah Mujahid, claimed that in front of camera that we have killed 58 security force personnel of the Pakistani forces. Pakistan also claiming these type of things. Pakistan's claiming that we have captured the 19 Afghan posts with the border area, and we have killed so many Afghan forces, but we have killed the TTP and Daesh people also in the different area of the Pak-Afghan border. Because the claims are coming from Islamabad as well as from Kabul. Therefore, of course, that was the, I think so, in the recent past, I can say that this was the biggest attack by Afghanistan against Pakistan. I will say that if Afghanistan attacked the Pakistani post, of course, Pakistan have also faced the can say that Pakistan have also faced so many losses of their security personnel. But of course, Afghanistan is also, actually Pakistan was using the drone strike against the different posts in the border areas, as well as Pakistan have used. I think so. I have received some news from different sources that Pakistan have used their air force as well against the last night attack by Afghanistan.
Indeed, and in the meantime, we've seen statements coming from Iran, from Saudi Arabia as well, calling for restraint. And the Pakistan-Afghanistan border crossings have now been closed as well. Simultaneously, some other very crucial developments are taking place in South Asia, particularly in New Delhi. Afghanistan's Foreign Minister Muttaqi has met Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar. How is the Pakistani establishment viewing this, considering India has now stated that it will reopen its embassy in Kabul that it had earlier downgraded to a small office after US had withdrawn its troops in 2021?
Yeah, Pakistani authorities are monitoring the Amir Khan Muttaqi visit, which is a historic visit for 6 days. I think so. This is first time that any foreign minister of Afghanistan visiting New Delhi for 6 days. And of course, he is from the Taliban regime, from the Emirat-e-Islami cabinet. Therefore, it's the significance is more than that which we have seen in the past. Of course, we have seen Ashraf Ghani, we have seen Hamid Karzai as a president of Afghanistan. They have visited so many times New Delhi. But with the Taliban, and the India relation. That was, I think so, the new thing for, as a journalist, I'm covering Afghanistan and the South Asia. Of course, it's a new thing, and we have seen so many things, so many developments during this visit. As well as the Pakistan is concerned, of course, Pakistan is not happy. I'm talking about the Pakistani authorities, the Pakistani defense minister, the Pakistani establishment, the Pakistani government. And I have seen so many angry statements from on the social media from different people that how is it possible that the Afghan foreign minister is visiting? They were our friends, they were our brother, they are our neighbor, they are the Muslim Ummah, and things like that. They are using all these type of statements, which is totally wrong. I think so. Afghanistan is a country, and of course, if you want a good relation with Hindustan or India, of course they can do that. If they want a good relation with Iran, Russia, Central Asia, China, Pakistan, or other country, of course they don't need to get a permission from Islamabad. They have a right. Therefore, Amir Khan Muttaqi was visiting Pakistan on 4th August 2025, but that was cancelled. And right now he is in India, and India, of course, give him a red carpet, and the meeting with the Foreign External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jaishankar. Pakistani media is talking about that in 2021, we welcome Pakistani government, Pakistani establishment, welcome to the Taliban regime in August 2021. But right now, the situation is totally changed. The Afghan authorities is developing the good relation with India, which is, of course, not favoring Pakistan, and the Pakistani authorities not happy from this visit. But if Afghanistan or Kabul authorities or the Kabul government is want to develop a good relation, as you said, that mission upgrade, that embassy will be open there, and they are India is providing so many things, especially in the development field, in the hospital, health, in education, in infrastructure, in energy. These are the very important development, I think so, which we have seen in this Amir Khan Muttaqi, the foreign minister of Afghanistan, have talked with Dr. Jaishankar, and Dr. Jaishankar said that we want the one guarantee from your side that your soul shouldn't be used against of course, India or the other countries. And he cleared, I think so, Amir Khan Muttaqi cleared all these things in front of him, that we will not use our soil against any country, or especially against India. Of course, this is I think so, a positive beginning for Delhi and Kabul, but I think so, not good right now for Pakistan.
Indeed. And speaking of Pakistan and Afghanistan, we've recently seen a crucial meeting taking place in Russia, the Moscow format meeting, where Mohammad Sadiq Khan, Pakistan's special representative on Afghanistan, he was present over there with a delegation as well. And something was agreed upon, that Afghanistan's sovereignty will not be violated by any country. This is something that Muttaqi had re-emphasized while giving a press conference in New Delhi. And this comes in the context of the United States demanding access to the Bagram air base. How does Pakistan view these demands that the US has been making? And what do you think Russia stands to gain by expressing interest and maintaining its relations with Afghanistan?
Yeah, of course, as well as the Bagram Air Base is concerned, the American President Donald Trump clearly said it, that we need the Bagram Air Base. But as we seen the reports from Kabul or from the Afghan authorities, they clear this, that we are not going to hand over this Bagram Air Base to the US, even an inch land of Afghanistan to the US. I think so it's clear now. What about the statement of Pakistan about regarding the Bagram Air Base? I think so Pakistan is not clear. As we have seen, you have talked about the Sadiq Khan. He is a very seasonal diplomat, and he is playing a vital role between the Pakistan and Afghanistan relation. But what is missing in that? I think so. Sadiq Khan doesn't have authority or power. Of course, the establishment is dealing the relation with India, the relation with Afghanistan, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and US. This is the thing which is missing between Pakistan and Afghanistan, and this is the main thing. This is the main reason behind all this situation, which is creating from last couple of years. I will say that that escalation, that clashes we have seen so many times on the border, the insurgency in different area of Pakistan, especially in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan. Of course, Pakistan is not in a position that they will say that Bagram Air Base shouldn't be handed over to US, because our relation is bending up, it's going up with US. Of course, we will not in a position to go against the statement of Donald Trump because he is demanding the Bagram Air Base. As well as the Russia is concerned, Russia is the first country in the world who recognized the Taliban government. And of course, they have so many concerns about the Bagram Air Base. They will never allow, or they will never favor that, or to Afghanistan or the Kabul government, that the Bagram Air Base should hand over to the US. And China is also against it. And of course, the main stakeholder is Iran. As we seen 2 months ago, the Israel attacked the Iran, the American bombers came to Iran, and we have seen so many things. Of course, Iran have a big concern about that, and they, of course, clearly talk with the Kabul government that they shouldn't hand over the Bagram Air Base, and the Imarat Islami, the Afghan Taliban government, is not in a position, I think so, that they will hand over, and they will go against the China, they will go against the Russia to hand over that Bagram Air Base. But America is interested, maybe in future we will see so many things, but I think so Pakistan is not clear on the Bagram Air Base, because our policy or statements, the foreign minister and the deputy prime minister say something else. We will receive some big news from Rawalpindi, which will be totally different. We will receive news from the Sadiq Khan, who is dealing with Afghanistan. Of course, these are the big differences, because of which the Pakistan-Afghanistan relation is going down, and they are far away from each other.
All right, with that, I would like to thank you for taking out time sharing your perspective with us on NewsX World. With that, viewers, it's a wrap on this bulletin. More news and updates on the other side. Stay tuned.